In 2009,
That's
Call
how
of Duty
fucking old
Modern
I
Warfare
am.
2 was released, a game that many fans consider to be one of the best in the entire series.
Oh
Continuing
yeah,
this trajectory, Blade
best
would
COD
take one
was
more
probably
month to
more
reach
for 2 and
30,000
3.
subscribers. And back in 2009, this was pretty impressive growth, and it just goes to show how well liked he was during that era. He'd then make connections by partnering up with other prominent COD YouTubers of the time, like C-Nanners.
Hello everyone, my name is C-Nanners, and I have a guest with me today. Sir, if you would be so kind as to introduce yourself and tell the people who you are.
Sure, Adam. What's up, guys? It's Only Use Me Blade here, and like the name says, all I do is I shank people when I play Call of Duty.
By May of 2010, Blade already had official merchandise, and he decided to reveal his face to the internet. Keep this face in mind for the end of the video, just to consider how much 10 years of atrocious behavior is able to change a person's body, but we're not there yet. In 2010, Blade was approached by Machinima, a large and popular gaming network that was well known for partnering with small gaming channels to help them earn more revenue. The network clearly recognized Blade's rise to popularity and saw potential at a time when gaming channels couldn't earn money on YouTube without a network like Machinima. Thankfully, this came at a very opportune time, as Blade had just been fired from his job as a bouncer. Now that he was partnered with Machinima, Blade was given the opportunity to network with many other creators who were huge in the Call of Duty scene at the time. This gave him an idea. What if he did collaborative games? This is where Dual Tag comes in, a series in which he would play with another popular COD YouTuber to exchange their audience. The first episode guest starred White Boy 7th Street, a popular COD gaming YouTuber at the time. The series contained entertaining commentary between the two, combined with Blade's excellent knife gameplay, and it proved to be extremely successful for his channel. Seeing the elevated view count on his newly minted series, Blade realized that collaborations were the way to go. So he recruited others for these videos, like Woody's Gamertag, XJaws, and Minnesota Burns. All of these collaborations allowed Blade to pull from their audiences to build his own, and with him inviting others to his content, he was also invited to be in other people's content. Namely, in 2011, Blade was invited to join an in-person Call of Duty tournament hosted by billionaire Alki David. This tournament was not part of any national league, as
when YouTube was actually nerdy and weird. Now it's
the
philosophy.
it is today. Alki David himself is a British-Greek entrepreneur and businessman known for his involvement in various industries, including media, technology, and entertainment. David's career and activities are marked by both his business successes and controversies. He's maintained a high public profile, and his endeavors continue to be the subject of media and public interest to this very day. And for some reason, this billionaire at the time had a big interest in the YouTube gaming scene. This entire tournament was solely funded by Alki, who also put up the money for the grand prize. Called the Billionaires Challenge, it included many other prominent COD YouTubers, as well as one other future lolcow, Wings of Redemption. Funny how that works out. The other contestants included names like White Boy 7th Street and Woody's Gamertag. Shortly before the event was announced, Alki stated that he wanted to have a man, quote, euthanized on stream, which the surprise is
what the fuck?
backlash from both the participants
and the
public. However, as the old adage goes, any publicity is good publicity, and because of this controversy, the event gained a significantly increased amount of viewers. The tournament itself was a disaster both in planning and execution, but because of that, it gave Blade a significant amount of exposure.
This man looks like a
many
whore.
people Blade met at this event was none other than the infamous YouTuber and part-time garden gnome Keemstar. Keemstar was hired as one of the hosts at this event, and after talking, they had a lot in common, and they became fast.
Dude, it's crazy how every piece of shit, like, dude, like I could write a JoJo arc, like a couple JoJo panels about like how, like, you know, TV, you know what I'm talking about? They talk about like stand users are drawn together.
yeah, it's always fucking. For some reason, Keemstar is just always there, dude. Keemstar's always there.
Like, that's all I can think about. While he said that, Wings of Redemption, Keemstar, fucking Only Use Me Blade, dude. Sometimes the weaves of fate draw one another together.
Yeah, actually.
And all I can think of as I say that, as I say the weaves of fate draw one another together, is Jorno doing his pose, looking out into the sunset.
And nowadays, this is a bunch of woke, tanky libtards just circle jerking each other and making themselves feel like they're gods.
Professional COD scene is making questionable statements about what viewers could potentially type in chat about.
That video. That video.
Fuck you, Alex. Alex, you're a fucking nigger.
What the fuck?
All the way to Buffalo, New York, so we
that was a legendary clip.
This was a personal decision, but also
that's a gay as hell. Could you imagine moving somewhere just because
more content creators? They got
want to live 5 minutes?
and there was a lot of potential for both of them to benefit by collaborating and working on businesses together.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna have cigarettes.
became clear that Blade and Keem hit it off.
Alright.
Their friendship became stronger, with them appearing on live streams and podcasts together, where they provided entertaining banter and commentary. This helped both of them gain a wider audience on the platform, and the two even began their own podcast called The Bad Kids Show. Blade was gaining serious viewership, and would even end up starring on a dance competition called Dance On, which, needless to say, he didn't win. After this, things went smoothly for Blade for around a year. His channel continued to grow steadily, and his new residence near Keemstar meant that he enjoyed a significant boost in viewership from their collabs. But this wouldn't last forever, as in October of 2012, his views started to drop off. This wasn't because of something Blade himself did, it was simply because the overall popularity of COD began to fall off. Similar to many other trends on the site, Call of Duty content had enjoyed a relatively fruitful period of massive engagement, but then it began to drop off as the next big thing in gaming took its place. Other COD YouTubers would notice the shift in the tides and begin to pivot their content to other more varied sources, trying different games until they found one that either the algorithm or the audience seemed to really enjoy. Keemstar, seeing the tide shifting, decided to start Drama Alert, a show that would ultimately surpass anything he had done with gaming and make him the de facto face of online gossip. Only Use Me Blade, however, did not choose to adapt his content and stubbornly kept uploading COD knife montages to rapidly diminishing returns. His channel would cover over 6 iterations of the Call of Duty franchise, and throughout each of them, Blade would really only upload knife gameplays and nothing else. Growing bored of the repetitive and bland content, viewers would slowly stop watching. If there's one rule for long-term content creation, it is that creators must adapt to survive. The YouTube landscape is constantly changing and shifting, and if a creator is either unable or unwilling to change their videos to fit the new paradigm, they're sure to suffer a slow, painful viewership decline until they reach the very bottom. Perhaps if Blade had followed that rule, his channel and life could have been on a way different trajectory. But also, if that was the case, I wouldn't be talking about him right now. After 2 years of slowly declining viewership, Blade would seemingly strike gold with a new form of content that he dubbed drunk streams. In these streams, Blade would essentially just sit in his gaming chair.
That's basically he's taking the modern patriarchy.
Songs that could get him drunk.
Word of patriarchy, approach, dude.
Jaeger. Considering that Jaeger is 35% alcohol.
He said, "I'm just gonna get fucking wasted on stream." What a fucking giga,
It would take a genius to figure out how this went wrong very quickly. In one of the more notable events to happen on stream due to his intoxication, Blade would end up calling a girl a hard R lover in a stream. When Twitch was this was very much against TOS, and quite likely to end up getting you banned.
What I'm saying though, Steph Jade, is what is your stance on black people?
What? My hair has always been straight, but with like.
Is your stance on black people? The base question to ask on stream. What is your stance on black people?
Knowing this very well, one of Blade's stream moderators would cut his hair and beg him to shut down the stream and delete the VOD to avoid getting banned. Hearing that his income could be damaged because of what he had just said, Blade intelligently replied by saying he would shut down the stream, stop drinking, and then he swiftly did so.
You need to end the stream like right now, dude. I know that sounds.
You need to end your mouth.
After Blade had sobered up and realized what he had done, he would upload a video to his main channel titled Time for a Change, where he would apologize and open up about his drinking.
Most of you guys
that's wonderful.
me as the dude
That's actually wonderful.
And lately, over the last year, because I've been doing what's called drunk streaming, where I'm sitting on a computer and people donate money, take shots, and I get stupid. And it's a show pretty much in the community, instead of being a chill dude that has a crazy outlook on life that plays Call of Duty in a certain way and makes Sunday Show commentaries and gun game reactions or whatever commentaries, interesting points of views. I'm not that anymore. I am known as drunk.
Blade apologizes to anyone he's hurt while drunk and promises anything he said wasn't how he truly feels. He also opens up about how his problems with alcohol have completely ruined all of his previous romantic relationships because of how he acts when he's drunk. Along with apologizing for the previous stream incident, Blade also apologizes for the other instances of him saying the gamer word that hadn't been addressed up until this point. In this video, Blade would also reveal that the recent stream incident had not only cost him the goodwill of his audience, but it also caused the destruction of some relationships with people important to him who no longer wanted to associate with him publicly due to his actions. As is common with many alcoholics, Blade discusses how he's unable.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you ever don't like fuck with somebody more just because they use the N-word, you're soy. You're soy.
True. That is very soy.
Very
gay, very cringe.
Your loyalty has never meant anything to anyone at any point in time. Your loyalty is worth nothing. You stand for nothing.
Based.
That's true.
Fucking
And
based.
Okay?
I think it
That's
depends.
just
I think it depends on
facts.
context.
It doesn't even depend on context.
I wouldn't.
I don't care if some random black guy in the street made red. He said, "You fucking." I don't give a shit.
Now you're more racist than me, Munch.
That's base.
That's not racist.
I think it's like
hold on.
Aryan Bob walked up to a
And this comes from the idea that like that. Then if somebody on the street calls me a fucking beetle, nobody's gonna get up in arms.
It's going the.
That's why.
Well, I think it was Aryan Bob calling, Bill Bob Tim, Black Bill Bob Tim the N-word, hard R. I probably won't associate with him after that, but I mean.
What about Gypsy?
You're a soy.
Soy, if Aryan Bob, the super Nazi with SS and a swastika tattooed on his arm, walked up to poor nerd
hold on.
Urkel.
Getting an SS tattoo is a reason to not be to cut somebody off. That's different.
What about
that's a whole different
or being a member of the Republican Party?
Base. Giga Chad. I like Republicans. I love Republicans even in the crowd.
Look, I'll associate with conservatives and libertarians. I won't associate with Republicans. That's a rule of mine.
So base.
Look, Adam's a conservative, but he's definitely not a fucking Republican.
Able to simply have one drink, and every time he drinks, he will keep going until he's blackout drunk. He finishes off the video by saying that he's a completely different person when he's sober versus when he's drunk. And drunk is when he's sober is what he's genuinely like as a person. It may be easy to brush this aside.
This guy looks like some guy who jerks off to CP. I'm sorry.
It is worth noting that Keemstar himself has said this exact same
thing.
Blade to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when he's drunk.
This guy looks like guy drinks up to CP.
However, when he drinks alcohol, we're dealing with Blade Type B, okay? I'm talking about Type A. I was friends with Type A. Type B is the drunk guy.
No, Keemstar is definitely a fucking racist.
Most of his alcoholic meltdown.
Yeah.
Motherfucker has an alt to Octavian. He has a drunk alt.
He's a drunk altar base. Yo, he's got the drunk altar. Dude, the legendary drunk altar. Yo, their Jasper's got one. That's crazy.
Drunk altar, dude.
Drug altar?
That's wild. The drunk altar, dude.
My drunk altar is probably Russell. What's his name? Oh man, it was who's that guy who's fucking married to Katy Perry? He's nothing but a drunk altar.
Base.
Let me look at his name.
You mean Nick?
No, the guy who's married to Katy Perry. It was Russell something. The guy's a little shitbag. The guy's a little drunken shitbag. He's like the Justin Bieber, 4-year-old Justin Bieber drunk fuckboy of London. What's his name? Russell Brand. Russell Brand.
Until 2019. Keep in mind that this podcast was recorded in 2019 when he ended his friendship with Blade, so Keemstar would have no apparent reason to defend the guy, really. A turning point in Blade's online career would occur several months after he first started streams. This is when he would completely stop uploading COD Knife gameplay and exclusively drink on his channel. By this time,
this guy looks like he would flirt with a 17-year-old.
Or no longer watched him,
so
those that were still around were there for the train wreck. They weren't concerned about the repercussions for his health or career. They just wanted to see what crazy thing would happen next by continuing to donate to see his drunken antics. This would be the single worst decision in all of Blade's online career, possibly even beyond failing to diversify his content. By continuing to make his only source of income his addiction, he was basically
what a whore!
For anyone unaware,
he drinks and sells his content
and punishment to modify behavior. Basically, by punishing for a selected bad behavior or rewarding for a selected good behavior, you use the brain's reward mechanisms to condition a person or animal to perform a certain task. This is what Blade was doing whenever he would start drunk streaming. Every time he went live, he would teach his brain to associate the financial reward and positive social interactions he got from fans with him drinking. So every time he got a dopamine hit from getting more money or a compliment from his fans, his brain would learn to associate that dopamine release with being drunk, further cementing his need for alcohol. Blade had found a foolproof strategy to min-max his alcohol addiction to an unthinkable degree. For some people, this might sound like the perfect job. After all, who wouldn't want to be paid to drink booze and play video games? But it certainly is not the perfect job for someone with an addictive personality and a complete lack of introspection like Blade. It may be perfectly fine in the short term, but for a career, this very obviously isn't sustainable and will very quickly lead to a myriad of negative effects. Unfortunately, among the few skills Blade has, foresight definitely is not one of them. His streams quickly began
That's crazy.
health, with significant weight gain and drunken rampages becoming more and more common over each live stream. Some people might think the worst thing you could do being a live streamer is to have no one watching, but Blade was actually somehow below even that. If you're live streaming in video games and no viewers consistently, at the very least you're getting better at the game you're playing. And as far as viewership, there's the potential for growth and upward mobility. Blade, however, was getting worse. Unless speedrunning liver cirrhosis is a category in GDQ 2023 that I just haven't heard of, you can't get better at being a drinking streamer. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The more you get blackout drunk every night, the worse you're making yourself mentally. Blade would have a few short periods of sobriety here and there after promising to get clean, but every time he would try, he would return to drinking shortly after. The main issue is that every time he tried to get sober, Blade would realize he had literally nothing else going on in his life. On many occasions, Blade would lament about how his friends his age were getting married and starting families, while he himself had nothing but Call of Duty.
All my friends have gotten girlfriends and gotten married and are starting to have kids.
Fucking Terraria ass music playing in the background, dude, talking about this kid's crazy.
In kid mode.
Alongside his lack of personal growth, another issue was that nobody wanted to watch his COD gameplay anymore. All of his original fans were long gone by this point, and the only people left were people who wanted to see him drunk. On the rare occasions where he would try and upload a gaming video, they would perform horribly with no views and therefore no money. That meant the only way Blade would get any attention on YouTube was getting drunk on stream. These live streams on Twitch would continue until 2015, when during one of his regular streams, a chatter asked Blade to touch his butt. At this point in the stream, Blade was extremely intoxicated.
What the fuck? Pornography of a poor 40-year-old guy.
The chatter asked, and a little more, facing his rear end to the camera Nikocado avocado style for all the fans to enjoy. And then he used his finger much like a doctor would to test for colon cancer. This got him banned from Twitch permanently. It's probably safe to say that after the previous Gamer Word incident, Twitch was looking for a way to get him off the platform, and this would seem to be the perfect reason for them. Getting permanently banned and losing a substantial amount of income didn't appear to even faze him, though, as he would immediately move to YouTube and start live streaming the same content there. Blade's YouTube channel once boasted a respectable 500,000 subscribers, and with an amount that high, it would be fair to assume that he would enjoy a higher viewership than the minuscule amount he'd been getting on Twitch. However, considering by this point his reputation was already in the gutter, the transition to YouTube didn't gain him a significant increase in viewership. Now on YouTube, Blade would once again resume the shot streams, and perhaps finally learning from his old mistakes, start to try and hop on popular gaming bandwagons such as Fortnite in 2017. He actually seemed optimistic at the time about his future on YouTube, and it seemed like he may finally be turning things around.
So the reason why we say final drunk stream is because when World War II comes out, I'm going to be streaming a lot, and I'm also going to be making videos. Get back to the old me, new Call of Duty, snipe only, all that good stuff, instead of like getting drunk all the time.
In January of 2018, Blade would once again find himself embroiled in a controversy caused entirely by his own actions. The catalyst for this event began all the way back in the winter of 2016 in Kansas City, when Keemstar was planning to host a live meetup with Blade. They had originally planned it for Sunday, but due to a large ice storm that was incoming, they made the decision to move it to Friday night at the local bar in case some people couldn't make it due to weather. Only about 20 people showed up, and one of the people there came up to Blade and told him he was his biggest fan and that he had been watching him since he was a little kid, all the way back in 2009. He called Blade his hero. After chatting a bit, this same guy ended up getting down on one knee and proposed to his girlfriend in front of Blade and Keemstar, asking her to marry him. She accepts and starts crying. Everyone applauds. It's a very happy, touching moment. What could possibly go wrong? Fast forward to 2 years later. It's New Year's, and the other streamers he was living with at the moment are having a huge New Year's party. Now, at this time, because of the aforementioned butthole incident, Blade is banned on Twitch. For anyone unaware, Twitch's ban policy includes
this man
a
is a total Chad and should not be allowed around children.
Someone else's live stream who isn't banned, then that non-banned person gets perma-banned instantly, no questions asked. If you're a banned streamer, you can't show up on other people's streams. Because of this, Blade was relegated to the cuck shed, forced to stream alone in the basement. The other streamers upstairs decided it would be fun to invite some of their biggest fans to the party, so Blade decides that he should do that as well. Trying to think of who his biggest fan is, Blade obviously thinks of the guy who proposed to the love of his life in front of him. So this guy comes over, and keep in mind he's now married to his wife. They meet Blade and talk, and then they go upstairs to talk to everyone else. At one point during the night, this super fan's wife comes downstairs to hang out with Blade. They get along, they're having shots, having a good time, and then Blade and her really start feeling each other in a very literal way on live stream. Shortly after that, they start full-on making out directly in front of the camera that's currently live streaming to the entire internet. So now, while Blade is full-on making out and grabbing the breasts of this recently married woman, the Blade superfan, probably ex-superfan now, walks downstairs and sees the two of them making out and just stares flabbergasted before turning around like he's on a swivel and walking back up the stairs. Blade notices this and tries to get him to come over, but to no response. And if you think that no human being could possibly be more shameless than that, well, I have some bad news, because later, after being exposed for making out with his biggest fan's wife directly on stream, Blade starts to her on live stream out of frame while the husband is still upstairs. I mean, you can't make this up. Now, it's worth saying that this woman was not an unwilling participant. She was fully okay with this interaction. Everyone was consenting. That being said, it was probably a bad idea.
This gig chat or Jesus Christ.
What she wanted.
That's crazy.
This is part of what makes Blade so entertaining, the endless train wreck. Incidents like
Yeah,
this almost feel
that's
like an
wild.
episode from a TV show, but it's probably also safe to say that Blade never would have had this interaction if he wasn't drunk in the first place. Ice Poseidon, whose real name is...
I'm a two-time Trump voter, but
Fuck
in
you.
2024,
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
We're all fucked.
Thank you.
God, I don't.
We're all
Ew.
fucked either way.
Yeah.
You know what? For once, I agree with Grant. Well, fuck anyway, dude. Shut the fuck up. I don't.
Over Kamala, Kumalala. Kumalala.
Kamala's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
Best, I love Kamala.
I
a
saw
Kamala.
the name of this disgusting.
But I'm not voting for Trump, don't worry. I'll vote for Kamala over Trump any day of the week.
I'm gonna play Feed the Cups demo. We're gonna see how good this is. Feed the Cups.
Is a popular streamer well known for pioneering the IRL, or in real life genre. He gained prominence on Twitch for his unique style of content, which involved broadcasting his daily life and interactions with people, whether he was walking around in public, traveling, or attending events. As his streams are just real life, his content is known for its unpredictable and unscripted nature. When he had a dedicated following on Twitch, his streams sometimes attracted criticism and controversy due to the behavior of some of his viewers and the individuals he interacted with on camera. The most notable example being the time an entire flight was canceled due to one of his fans calling in a fake threat to the airport that he was currently live streaming from.
Allah Akbar.
That's gotta take a shot.
Allah Akbar.
Much like Blade. Ice originally gained a following.
That's why Twitch. That's why Twitch is so fucking cocked and it's a terrible service. How are you gonna ban somebody for something that somebody else did?
Twitch is fucking cocked. Armorath. Amorath. Whatever her name is.
That the message CX
Yeah,
was
we're at.
frequently used
Fuck
in
that
chat,
bitch.
an old school way to depict a facial expression
Hey.
before the
I'm
inception
sorry.
of
Okay,
emojis.
came on Bowser, man. I'm
The
gonna go on a
frequency
rant
of
about
this term's usage
Armorath.
ended up becoming the defining aspect of his community and brand.
What,
To
Amaranth?
name his IRL streaming group, the
You know,
CX
I can't pause it.
CX
People,
network, therefore,
okay,
was a
okay.
collection of
Well,
many
people
different
think
IRL
Amaranth is
streamers,
innocent
owned
and
operated
that
by
she's
Ice
some.
Poseidon.
She was forced to do that
Blade
shit.
would meet
No,
Ice
she
live on
wasn't. She
stream,
made
and
that
the two
shit
seemed to
up.
get along really well. Then, in the summer of 2020, Ice Poseidon put out a tweet asking his followers
I don't
what
know much
content
about
they
the
wanted
Amaranth
to
stuff,
show
so I'd have
Blade.
to-
Streamer
I have to
house.
I heard it from a
Then he
trustworthy
suggested
source.
that Blade
I
should
could
be
be
invited
wrong.
to live in this home, and after much deliberation, Blade was actually chosen as one of the
She was
candidates
trying to
start living in
cuckold
this
her
new
audience even
IRL
more than she
content
already
house. If
does.
his drinking was bad beforehand, living in this house,
She's
set
hot.
Blade
She has
to
a right to
overdrive.
do whatever she wants
He
to
was
do,
getting
but fuck, she's a
competitive with how
bitch.
much he could put back. In the live stream
I've heard
video
people
where
that
Ice
worked with her,
introduced
she's a
Blade as
fucking
a
bitch.
potential tenant of his newly purchased house, it quickly
Jeez.
became apparent that Ice was not looking to invite Blade to be a huge personality and someone who was a respected member of the household, but rather as cheap, trashy entertainment for the audience to gawk at. What
So
makes
he's
this
a
even more
whore.
obvious is the fact that shortly before this trip, Blade and a few other members of the IRL community had gone on a trip together to Hawaii, and as usual, Blade got completely blackout drunk and inappropriately groped another member of the live streamer
Sounds
group
like a
named
whore to
Jasmine.
me.
This goes to show Blade's complete disregard for any social norms and the rapidly deteriorating mental state he found himself in. It became clear that the true purpose of the interview
I'm sorry,
was for Ice to
artist.
determine whether or not Blade would be a good business asset, and if the cons of his complete moral depravity outweigh the potential benefit to be made from using him for content. This is made very obvious by the fact that instead of asking personal or relevant questions to Blade about living in the house, he chose to ask questions about hypothetical situations where the group would get evicted from the home and how Blade would go about fixing them. Ice seemingly decided that the pros outweigh the cons and decided to let Blade and all of his degeneracy become a permanent fixture at the newly founded CX mansion for all the other streamers to have to deal with. He was now in the company of other streamers with dubious pasts like Sam Pepper, as well as Hampton Brandon and a Greek God X. Blade didn't really have all that much going on for him personality-wise. Viewers didn't find him likable or funny, and considering his controversial history, the only thing people really enjoyed was watching him get blackout drunk. But in all fairness, cut the guy a little slack, considering the fact he spent the last 6 months frying his brain with Jaeger bombs. I'm surprised he can even string together words to form a cohesive sentence. Although Blade was technically a part of the CX network, it's safe to say the other members in the house didn't really like him that much. Other members made it clear to Blade on numerous occasions that they found him annoying and abrasive, especially when he was intoxicated.
What up? No? Yeah, you did. No, I didn't. I can smell it.
Okay, you know what's ironic? I think I saw a few of these guys, some few of these Call of Duty YouTubers. Have you guys ever heard of Online Gamer? Reckless Tortuga?
Another thing to remember is that at this time, Blade was much older than any of the other live streamers in the house.
It's a YouTube channel that
I have not.
Okay, so Reckless Tortuga was a well-known Call of Duty gamer comedy YouTube channel back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and went through like phases of activity that were sometimes like 4 years long. Inactivity. They had this guy and a lot of other Call of Duty streamers on, and now I'm starting to see why they had them on.
Trash IRL streamers aiming to be the
Look up Reckless Tortuga sometime. Here's the thing about Reckless Tortuga. It was so fucked up and raunchy and offensive with the things they said that it's now banned off of YouTube, and you have to look really hard to find it.
That's kind of base.
Online Gamer.
You know what I was pissed about? You know what I was fucking mad about? Something that happened to me that I was so fucking pissed about.
What?
That was banned off of fucking YouTube.
Can we just agree YouTube has lost its soul and should not be as philosophical?
Is that Monster used to be on YouTube for free, and I think it took it off of it because they put it on Netflix, but Netflix doesn't even have the fucking English dub. So what the fuck, guys?
My biggest issue with YouTube, it's lost its gamer, nerdy, comedy edge, and it's become an over-philosophical, woke, SJW, soy boy, cuckbag, whore bag, garbage pit full of the sperm of LA.
The sperm of LA, too. Okay, good job.
That's my take on YouTube nowadays. That's what it takes to be a YouTuber, what it takes to be a well-successful YouTuber. You have to be a cuck, trans, a soy boy, whore bag, piece of shit.
Damn.
Look, I loved YouTube back when I got into YouTube back in the last days of its gamer history. Now it's nothing but a bunch of politically correct wet ends, soy boys circle jerking each other to pictures of philosophy tube. Okay, that's all YouTube is nowadays. That's my take on YouTube as a YouTuber. What happened to the days of free speech and art and like creativity? It was destroyed by cucks like Philosophy Tube and that fucking disgusting creature known as ContraPoints.
Jesus.
I'll say this: ContraPoints convinced
and black people.
When I first saw ContraPoints, I'm like, damn, she's hot.
So low, by the way.
What?
What is Gwen so low?
Oh, no, you have him turned down? It's not
no,
working.
I have him at normal volume, but I can turn him up a bit.
No, I'm trying to make sure Adam doesn't wake up.
Oh, well, fuck Adam.
He's going to Colorado in the morning, bitch.
He's got a what?
He's going to Colorado for the week.
Tavian, what is he saying?
He's going to Colorado
He said he's going to Colorado for the week.
Oh.
He's bringing back some weed.
You know what? I don't give a fuck.
He's bringing back some weed.
Jesus. Taste.
Hey, respect Adam.
Look at
He's a
that.
good guy. All right, respect Adam.
Respect on his name. Put some respect on his damn yucca.
Motherfucker, I don't respect anybody.
You will respect my blood brother.
Respect on his name.
You know what I said? I said, fuck them.
Alright, keep watching. But that's my take on modern day YouTube, okay? It's become way too politically correct when ends, circle jerking it to pictures of Karl Marx while yelling out the safety word. Gender inequality. Gender inequality. Gender inequality. It's a safety word in most cut bag.
That's crazy. Bro, could you imagine ending up with a worse reputation than Sam Pepper? That's crazy.
That is super hyper wild.
What, was my rant not funny?
It was funny. I'm sorry, yeah.
Gender inequality, gender inequality, gender inequality. Now you're really starting to hurt
Is YouTube
me.
like 1984?
I've seen it, yes.
Jesus Christ.
I hate humanity. Keep playing Munch.
Okay.
This game is actually pretty fun. I think I'll probably be getting it.
These are the same people who won't hesitate to start random fights or mace bouncers just because someone donated $10 asking them to. You have to have an for someone like that to consider you too obnoxious. Over his time in the Florida house, Blade would get into many different altercations while intoxicated.
This looks like a cheap gamer version of Real World.
Oh my god, are we gonna watch or are we gonna talk, dude? I'm not gonna keep backing out back and forth.
Keep watching. I'll go offer him my last smoke and then we'll come back in.
Beyond belief. This very quickly became a very apparent conflict of interest, since the entire reason Blade's audience watched him was because they wanted to see him act like a drunk idiot.
Gender inequality. Gender inequality.
Disrupt the other streamers' stuff they were filming in the house. There are probably enough instances of Blade being a belligerent person that you could make a compilation with a runtime longer than all the Star Wars movies put together. So in the interest of time, I've selected what could be considered his greatest hits. One notable instance would be when Blade, obviously blackout drunk, would try to pick a fight with one of Ice Poseidon's moderators.
Can you hold him in the chair, please? Alright, you three just stay.
The next instance would once again be caused by
all my people. I love all my people.
And in this live stream, Blade would yell the N-word extremely loudly while there were multiple black people in the room. Another common issue Blade would
What's me?
Instead, preferring to simply pass
yelling the N-word loudly in a room full of black people.
Only when I'm drunk, gentlemen. Only when I'm drunk.
Also get in trouble for urinating all over the
you and Yuzu Blade are just alike.
Hey, I am nothing like this cuck bag. See, I'm not like this. I would never do this.
Not content with only harassing.
I respect women too much to do shit like that, okay?
More inclusive in his verbal and physical abuse, and so during a live stream where a young a mess that Blade had just created, Blade decided to start attacking him for no apparent reason. Having learned absolutely nothing from his previous encounter where he assaulted a fan on stream, Blade would attempt to grope and hit on the girlfriend of a fellow streamer named K-Pop right in front of him. He'd repeatedly ask her for sex, to which she tried to awkwardly laugh it off, until it was too much and she simply said no firmly before walking away and abandoning the interaction. Seemingly indignant at this blow to his ego, Blade would respond by calling her boyfriend K-Pop a shitty streamer.
You suck as a streamer, dude.
Later in the night, during the same Blade would call one of the
I can't fuck your girlfriend, so you're a trash streamer. Babe, that's the best logic out there. That's the best logic out there. Oh shit.
Hey, she was leading him on with her suggestive clothing, alright?
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll use that as the cue. Jesus.
Seriously. In honor, I would ever grope you, you stupid.
Jesus Christ. Base.
Yeah.
with such stunning and eloquent responses. After having his romantic attempts shot down once again, this time by fellow roommate streamer
This looks like a worse version of the real world than the real world.
Fire. Again, very classy. Later in 2018, both Ice Poseidon and Keemstar would attempt to stage an intervention to try to get Blade to curb his drinking and therefore stop his abusive behavior, but to no avail. Blade refused to acknowledge that he had an issue.
We gotta find this show, guys.
Or simply not
we gotta watch this and just laugh our asses off
that
at
this
it.
intervention was of dubious sincerity, as it would appear that
yeah, we
Keemstar
do.
was the
Okay.
individual there who truly wished for Blade to get clean, while
A
some of the other
gamer
people
real
may have
world.
wanted the
I
content.
love how
Shortly after the failed
much of an
intervention, Blade
abomination
would be
that
removed from the
sounds.
CX Network house, with the reason being that the CX Network was for IRL streamers, and since Blade didn't do any IRL stuff, it wasn't a good fit for him. Blade himself stated in a live stream that the breakup was mutual and that there were no hard feelings. However, it's often been speculated that the real reason for his removal was because everyone in the house despised him and didn't want to put up with his drunken antics any longer. Reflecting back on his time in the CX Network house, Blade would say that although he enjoyed the exposure and liked interacting with fans, he hated the small percentage of people that were, quote, toxic.
The one thing I wasn't prepared for was I didn't realize how big an issue callers were. Even though I love the extra exposure that the CX Network that they got from me being on the website and more people coming in, there is a very small percentage of them that are like super toxic.
Despite saying he was completely fine leaving the CX network, a mere 10 minutes later, Blade would find himself back with IRL content, this time for an upcoming RV road trip. Looking back on it now, I'm sure this is the point where Blade wishes he could have made a different decision because, as abysmal as his reputation was, he would somehow manage to plunge it even further into unimaginable levels over the upcoming months. Shortly before the ill-fated RV trip, Blade would make one last terrible decision in April of 2019 by throwing a dog off of himself because he didn't want it to lick his face. He would attempt to defend Blade on the PKA podcast, saying that the dog was perfectly fine, but that did very little to quell the online outrage. This event would be the straw that broke the camel's back for Keemstar, being the event that caused him to publicly disavow Blade and end a decade-long friendship. He could deal with Blade destroying his own life, but once his behavior began to truly hurt those around him, including an innocent dog, Keem cut him off. In the tweet disavowing Blade, Keem would reveal that he had tried to help Blade get sober 3 different times. Each time,
Keem was like, okay, that's the line, but...
Hey, when Keem draws the line, dude, you know it's crazy.
That is true, that is true.
More fun streaming than anything else, and with no real support network of people who cared about him, he wasn't keen on getting help either. If the dog incident was Blade reaching rock bottom with his online reputation, then the RV stream is when he metaphorically took a sledgehammer to a litter of kittens.
I know about this one. This one is wild.
And ended his online career permanently. This came during one of the many RV trips taken with members of Ice Poseidon's community. It's worth noting his behavior had already crossed the line inside the RV, from vomiting in public spaces to urinating everywhere, and generally just being a complete nuisance to be around. But the most damning of the controversies would be the allegations of misconduct. In 2019, one of the RV streamers was a woman named Gucci's. The trip got off to an okay start, with Blade casually chatting with Gucci's at a table, and he would ask her the infamous question, "Have you ever been raped?"
That's just so base.
Surely that was just a one-off thing and definitely foreshadowing for anything that might happen. Right? Unfortunately, this was not just a one-off instance, as Blade's perversion and general scumminess continued throughout this trip. At another point,
That's like peak degenerate right there, dude.
You should.
You should, dude. I'd tell you that shit. That's crazy.
Next with Gucci's, who at the time was passed out drunk in a bed in the back of the RV. It's difficult to make out exactly what Bjorn says, but the phrase "uh-oh" can clearly be heard as Blade gets up and says he has to pee while making air quotations with his hands. Then, shortly after this interaction, there's footage of Blade walking into the room where Gucci's is sleeping with no pants on. The angle of the live stream camera only had a slight view into the bedroom, making what happened hard to see as only the lower end of the bed was visible. But a lot of people believe they saw Blade do something horrible there. Goose would later claim that Blade did what everyone believed happened, but she cannot remember the event due to being so intoxicated. After this event goes down, Blade is then once again in front of the RV speaking with Bjorn. Blade suggests to Bjorn that they should dump Gucci's on the side of the road, and then Bjorn and the other streamers reply with, "What the f*** is wrong with you?" And Bjorn calls him severely messed up.
Bjorn, should we keep or should we drop her off on the side of the road?
Moments like this, it's unclear if Blade remains
That's giga shit. Holy shit.
What did he say?
This all happened.
He said, just go back. Just, you have to hear it from his word. You have to hear it from him, dude. Just go back. It's legendary. Holy shit.
Moments like this, it's unclear.
Rewind a little bit. Yeah.
Bjorn calls him severely messed up. Moments like this, it's unclear.
What?
The girl that he sexually assaulted in the back of the RV, he said, should we keep her or should we dump her at the side of the road?
That's fucking based.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
What a Chad. That sounds like how I was probably conceived.
You know what? Dig it, Chad.
Blade attempts to masterfully deflect any criticism by saying, this, surprisingly, was not an airtight legal response, and after Gucci was police, Blade was immediately kicked off of the RV trip. Shortly before he was kicked off the trip, Bjorn would tell Blade that he absolutely believes Blade is guilty and should go to prison. Gucci's also claimed that while she did tell the local
oh god, that's the child he slept with.
Report to charge him or having a medical examination done to determine what happened. This situation exploded all over the internet when it happened.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking in the Call of Duty days. In fact, it went so viral that Blade ended up getting interviewed by Chris Hansen, formerly.
This man is a golden child.
Incredibly sober and actually tries to give a coherent refute to the accusations. According to Blade, Gucci's was very intoxicated the entire night and was being very flirtatious with everyone.
This man needs Jesus.
Says that he was not particularly wasted that night.
This day I really didn't drink that much because Gucci's was performing karaoke. She was
Chris Hansen.
Ridiculous. She was really, really, really drunk. I think it was nervousness.
Oh my god, he was under pressure.
Really sexually aggressive.
Hansen, yeah.
Now listen here, Mr. Hansen. I likes you. I wants you.
Claims that Gucci's was actually interested in Bjorn, not him.
Oh, this is yo. Easy one. Oh, the hard.
And Blade doesn't know what happened.
That's all. Says y'all.
Mr. Chris Hansen.
This is when the incident really starts.
As I like to call you handsome.
They should have sex was just a joke.
I admit saying it's all on screen.
This guy fucked a child. What the fuck?
Along with the joke, and I was just tired. All I wanted to do was get some sleep at the big bed.
As far as when Blade goes to the back of the RV, he claims he went to sleep.
That's what YouTube does to people, folks. That's what YouTube does to young men.
Assault or inappropriately touched.
Turns them to this guy.
Absolutely not. I did not touch her in that bed at all.
After the Hansen interview, Blade would upload a video to his channel basically saying
Or it
because he was interviewed
makes you cut off your genitalia and think you're a woman.
That meant he was innocent. I'll just let that sit with you guys, I guess. No further commentary needed. But as has been established, Blade is not a rational human being. After the entire situation, he would appear on live streams smugly saying that he had proved the haters wrong. And since he wasn't in jail,
that's all transphobic. I shouldn't say that shit.
Sunday, he smugly says that he wants to do it again.
Oh, like how trannies control YouTube or something.
Yeah, trannies do control YouTube, unfortunately.
Easy knowing he's still receiving plenty of cosmetic justice for his lifetime of terrible behavior.
Take a shot, I guess.
All hail our trans overlords. All hail them in their debauchery.
One of the most prominent and visible effects of Blade's absolutely terrible health is the rapid decay of his leg tissue. Due to a combination of his terrible diet and rampant alcoholism, Blade has developed diabetes.
People can do whatever the fuck they want, just leave me the fuck out of it.
Necrosis of much of his leg tissue. Diabetes, when poorly managed, can lead to a condition known as
and now he has diabetes. He's becoming true white trash.
Tissue damage and even the rotting of the legs.
I wonder if this guy is my father.
Experience peripheral neuropathy, a condition in which high blood sugar levels damage the nerves in the extremities, such as the feet. Neuropathy can lead to a loss of sensation in the affected areas, making it difficult for individuals to feel pain, heat, or cold. This may also be a factor in why Blade seems wholly unfazed after getting in violent brawls or performing an incredibly stupid stunt while intoxicated. Furthermore,
he's gone full-blown white trash.
Peripheral arterial disease, or PAD, by narrowed or blocked blood vessels in the legs. This reduces blood flow to the extremities, making it more
Call of Duty streamer to a white trash
due to the reduced
pedophile.
sensation and poor circulation, people with diabetes may develop
like most guys from my high school
rapist.
Like most guys from my high school class.
Injuries such as blisters or cuts, or getting kicked out of you by
a streamer,
which often goes unnoticed due to neuropathy. In the words worst case scenario, if an ulcer becomes infected, the infection can spread to the surrounding tissue. When tissue dies due to a lack of blood supply, it's referred to as gangrene, and if left untreated, gangrene can progress to the point where amputation is necessary to prevent the spread of the infection. This is what Blade currently has, but he's blissfully unaware of it, and instead of going to a doctor like a normal person would, he seems to be in complete denial about his health, believing that if he doesn't
Oh my
pay
God,
attention to
Fest,
it,
damn!
it will just go away all on its own, which is not
That
the case.
fucking cat alone. You will
No,
accept
I
his
was
love.
fucking just chilling. I stretched. I elbowed him right in the fucking schnoz because I didn't know he was there.
Yeah. Days.
Hey, who's hosting the stream? Who's hosting the stream?
Running your eventual leg amputation, but then again, what do I know? I'm a YouTuber, not a doctor. Blade seemingly sees no issue with his failing health, and
Wait, is he pouring alcohol into his like rotting leg?
many of his
That's
competitors
bad.
have jokingly started referring to him as "Only Lose Me Leg," and have started.
That's not a base. That's not a base. Only lose me like. I only lost a leg, guys. Come on, I have alcoholism. Come on.
Exiled from the RV, Blade would begin streaming again, this time in a content creation house with many other streamers. This event begins during a party that was being hosted by the streamers at the house, where Blade had invited a fan of his named Willie to come hang out with them. This guy supposedly had driven cross country to come see Blade because he was such a huge fan of his content. Apparently, Willie had taken some sort of benzodiazepine that day, most likely Xanax or Ambien, and then proceeded to drink heavily at the party. On stream, he could be seen taking a whole red cup of Crown Royal whiskey at once, which is a lot. And for those unaware, mixing benzos with alcohol is a terrible idea. Benzodiazepines are central nervous system depressant drugs, meaning they slow your body's natural nervous system functions. When mixed with alcohol, which is also a CNS depressant, this can cause the central nervous system to shut down so much that it stops working.
These people are living.
This is like common sense, bro. Don't double up on stimulants. Don't double up on depressants, dude.
Sounds like me in
Yeah,
high
that's
school.
ridiculous.
Sounds
Well,
like me in high
Munchie,
The only
I
time you
used
should
to.
ever, and it's Willie Neville, because you don't know what the fuck is in that shit, but the only time you should ever try and double up on drugs is if you're gonna use one to counteract the other.
I mean, I used to
Munchie,
buy
I
weed from homeless
triple
people.
up on stimulants sometimes.
I mean, Munchie, I bought weed from a guy from a
Hey,
homeless
man, I'm
guy on
talking like
State
coke,
Street.
bro. I'm not talking caffeine and toy.
I bought weed from a homeless guy
Oh,
on
well, I
State
was-
Street, okay? So I'm one to talk.
Face. I'm talking about nicotine, Adderall, and caffeine.
Oh,
That's what I'm
Yeah, but
talking about. I'm
nicotine and Adderall, you can, that's different.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
I don't
fine.
really, you know what, hot take, I don't consider Adderall a stimulant.
It is a stimulant.
It's a methamphetamine.
I can
It's
confirm
not a
it.
stimulant.
I was on Riblin. I was high off my ass for most of middle school and high school.
Oh, Ritalin's a little bit different. Ritalin's a different type of amphetamine, right? I think. Pretty sure.
Heartbreaking and infuriating to think that if they had made that call a few minutes earlier, someone may not have lost their life over such a stupid mistake. Around 2
This
months
is
after the tragic
disgusting.
incident, Blade would upload a video revealing more
It is
details
pretty foul.
any responsibility in the matter, and attempting to shift most of the blame onto Willie for choosing to drink in the first place, which, in fairness, he does deserve some blame for, but also, you should have called.
Guys, let's look up this freaking gamer reality show they're on and just laugh our asses off.
He went to hospice, did the same thing, and actually did check himself out.
It's revealed in the video that Willie had a history of both heart and lung issues.
We're learning about it though right now. We gotta learn. We're gonna get educated.
Been in the hospital on life support due to the severity of his health complications. He eventually recovered. After a short while at a hospice, Willie would check himself out of the hospice against the advice of doctors, which explains the weakened condition he was in before his passing. Blade seems to think that Willie was improving and slowly getting better, which is why he was sent to a hospice.
He killed the man! This man is so retarded, he killed a man!
For the unaware, hospices are a specialized type of care that focuses on providing support and comfort to individuals who are in advanced stages of a life-limiting illness or are nearing the end of their lives. The primary goal is to enhance the quality of life for patients and to provide compassionate and holistic care that addresses their physical, emotional, social, and spiritual needs. His transfer didn't mean he was getting better. In fact, it meant the complete opposite. It meant they believed it was likely he was approaching the end of his life and wanted to provide care during that time. Despite this, Blade thought it was acceptable to invite him to a streamer party and have him drink excessive amounts of alcohol. The toxicology report indicated that, besides a small amount of
What's the name of this
THC,
YouTuber
there were
again?
toxicants present in his blood, ruling out that his death could have been caused by another drug drugs such as methamphetamine or fentanyl. The official cause of death was listed as congestive heart failure, obviously due to his medical history and combination of substances he took before passing out. In the section of the video addressing his culpability for the passing of Willie, Blade only seems to show concern when it pertains to his public image and people blaming him for Willie's death. He seems to show no remorse or guilt for potentially causing the death of a close friend in his own home. It's almost funny in a twisted way to listen to Blade read out the coroner's report of a friend who died right in front of him, while every 5 minutes TTS donations are laughing at the situation, asking if Blade is still going to stream from prison.
The opinion of whoever did the death report shows that the death was natural. He was awake in the hospital, moving around. So much so that he checked himself out. I don't think he should have checked himself out, but that's not my place to say. I wasn't around for that. But he checked himself out and then died shortly afterwards, dude. This isn't supposed to be a thing about, oh, look, I'm innocent. I've never really claimed my innocence because I don't have to, because I know I'm innocent. I didn't do shit. That's not what this is about. And as far as if there is an investigation, I don't care. Investigate the fuck out of me, dude. There you go. That's my official response.
Blade, will you do fire sales from prison?
I'm not going to prison, dude.
One would think
Yo, fans are ruthless. Dude, watchers are ruthless. Holy shit.
When was this?
Blade's continued failures, it's his inability to grow up and take responsibility for his actions. There's nothing wrong with making stupid mistakes. It's something we all do throughout our entire lives.
Oh, 1 year ago.
Jesus, a few years ago, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably in the pandemic or some shit.
His lifestyle, no matter how far he falls. Even as he continues
I was thinking a little bit before.
2019 maybe.
Gaining weight and suffering horrific damage. He keeps indulging in the same vices and performing the same events that are actively
That's wild.
Gentlemen, this is why I'm giving up drugs, so I don't become like this man.
Instead of being stuck as a boy like Peter Pan, he's
Ironically.
Blade himself fails.
You're like 50,000 years away from this. This dude's like level. He's like prestige 5.
Yeah, this dude's like a prestige 5 druggie, dude.
I don't want my dick to stop working before I'm 35, so...
serious ramifications. On top of his physical health, his inability to mature has also harmed his mental well-being.
Another minor?
Romantic fulfillment, and unable to find someone who can even stay in the same room as him for a prolonged period of time because of his complete disregard for other people's boundaries. The only people he has around him now are the few degenerates who are degenerate enough to willingly associate with him. It's difficult to say just how much further down Blade will go, considering how far he's already gone. Maybe finally.
Let's look up this game. Fucking reality show they're on. We gotta watch this
Whatever
shit.
happens, there's one thing that's for certain. It'll be
Wait, no. I need something worse than this.
I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Look up G4 Remake. That is just a whole new level retarded. The G4 Remake is its own brand of stupidity.
Rage. Depression.
Okay, this guy looks like someone who you should keep your kids away from, definitely.
Lying.
He pulls out a 38 and shoots me in the leg.
These words define the online presence of Wings of Redemption, going back the last 2 decades. Unlike other lolcows, Wings isn't delusional about his situation. If anything, he's far too aware of it, even if he doesn't care enough to put in the effort to change it. Despite how insufferable he can be as a person, his unusually charismatic persona makes his story unique in that, even at his lows, some can't help but root for him. However, his actions can get so irredeemable that sometimes sustaining that empathy is hard. It's hard to say what even compels him to continue with his online presence at this point, considering the damage it's inflicted on his life. So, join me as I dive into the insane, torturous life of Wings of Redemption. On the 21st day of April in 1986, television presenter Gerardo Rivera opened Al Capone's vaults, and though very much was expected to come out of it, nothing was ultimately found. On the same day, in Conway, South Carolina, a teenage couple, alleged by their future son to be related to one another, was in the opposite situation. Despite not expecting anything to come from their immature relationship, a baby was on its way. Named Jordy McCready Jordan, he grew up alongside 2 siblings, though neither from the same father.
Oh, this went to another video.
Look up G4.
Yeah.
Look up the G4.
I told you I'm not watching. We're not doing any videos.
Do it. Look it up.
Look
up G4.
G4. It's famously
Look up G4. G4.
I'm good.
Look up G4.
It's
Do G4 immediately.
The G4 remake
nice.
munch will make you cringe. It is pathetic. How a single
Mr.
lesbian
Electric.
goth chick destroyed an entire fan base.
You know what? You should have just not told me, but it was about my base. Oh!
Munch, what the fuck do you watch?
This is what we watch. Yeah. That's what we watch. What? What?
We can just watch this.
Yes! Yes, watch the Chris
The
one.
5-hour complete Twitch chan iceberg.
Yeah, okay, just do it. Just do it. Fucking do it.
As we all know, Chris Chan is the world's most documented person on the planet. And with that much info on a single person comes a massive, and let me tell you, oh boy, is it huge iceberg. We'll be talking from Chris's Fanta recycling to the dimensional merge being real. And as we all know how iceberg charts work, the deeper you go, the less known and confirmed the information is. I'll be displaying this info with Sonichu medallions. 5 meaning 100% true and confirmed, and 1 meaning it's basically a myth. Now, let's get into this.
Soon, icebergs will be an endangered species.
Sonichu. Sonichu is Chris's official life work, magnum opus and largest contribution to society and culture. To the uncultured, it is a poorly drawn and written comic book series about the adventures and travels that befall a fictionalized version of himself and his imaginary friends. Despite starting out as a comic about the titular character, it quickly turned into a wish fulfillment outlet for Chris and his depraved fantasies, with Sonichu being a main character in name only, playing second fiddle to Chris's primary Mary Sue self-insert. Other characters include
Isn't this guy retarded?
Chris's many other
Like dangerously retarded?
Yes.
On the 24th of November 2004.
Yes.
Guy is like ascended retarded, yes.
15 years. With its last
Yeah, he's got this is prestige retard shit.
June 2019. Chris wanted the series to last anywhere between 75 and 100 issues, although he was in no hurry to accomplish such a feat.
We gotta look up Sonichu. We gotta look this shit up.
Following Chris's incest charges, it seems unlikely.
I don't want to look at Sonichu.
I want to look at Sonichu. I want to see how bad it is.
Is derived from
It's like literally imagine what any 5-year-old would draw. It's just that bad. It's bad. Just know it's like that.
Present in Sonichu, it was later learned.
I'm sure this guy will go over some examples of it.
With a Lego city created in his own bedroom, predating the webcomic. Additional lore provided over the years also indicated that Chris himself is not the founder of the city, but his father was, and he named it after his newborn son. Chris believes that Quickville actually exists, and for many years used its city as a way to escape from anything he does not like. Recently, Chris has used other means of coping from reality, and Quickville became part of the parallel dimension of C-197, which he also believes to actually exist. Curiously, Chris has occasionally referred
This
to
guy's
Charlotte's
more
work as
retarded than
Quickville.
Ethan.
Bob and Barb Chandler. Robert Bob Franklin Chandler Jr. was the father of Christine Weston Chandler, Carol Chandler, and David Allen Chandler, the stepfather of Cole Smithy and husband of Barbara Weston Chandler. Bob became a firm favorite with trolls due to Chris's aversion towards him and for his infamous cameo when he walked in on him mass debating, where he gained his nickname, the Internet Lumberjack, came from this incident when he cut down the internet. Barbara Ann Chandler is the widow of Bob Chandler and the mother of Christine Weston Chandler and Cole Smithy. Though Bob remained relatively popular with trolls and Christians alike, the same cannot be said for Barbara, who has been consistently disliked by nearly everyone but Chris and her late husband. Whereas Bob eventually recognized his shortcomings as a parent to Chris and attempted to correct them later in his life, Barbara has consistently been one of the biggest enablers of Chris's bad behavior since he was a child. On top of emotionally manipulating, threatening, and occasionally physically abusing him, Barbara has been instrumental in turning Chris into the spoiled man-child that he is today. Sagas. A saga is a story arc of events on the quick chronology, documenting Chris's actions during a specific span of time. Of these sagas, the most important and influential ones would be The Love Quest, Megan, Clyde Cash, Liquid Chris, Financial Crisis, Idea Guys, Dimensional Merge, Incest, and Jail Sagas. Sonichu medallions. The Sonichu medallions were a result of Chris's
Fucking
infatuation
Sonichu,
with the
dude.
original character Sonichu. Due to
Yo,
the
I need to
frequency of
find
the
Grant, if you don't,
videos, photos, and in
bro,
public, it
Grant,
became
dude, this shit gets
more
dark
common.
quick.
I
Okay,
know,
I
I'm
promise you,
familiar
this shit
with
gets
it. I'm
deep
quite
and
familiar
dark.
with the guy.
Although Chris's habit of wearing
You are,
medallions
okay.
has fluctuated
That
over
is.
the years, he still wears the medallion in public.
I've
He does
seen
not
more.
plan to ever retire it despite its degrading condition. Chris has produced numerous medallions of his electric hedgehog Pokemon characters and previously produced them in large numbers for purchases through eBay. All previous and current iterations have been made from Crayola Model Magic and acrylic paint, and the quality varies from medallion to medallion due to them being handmade from scratch. All different variations of the medallions include Rose True Medallion, Blake Sonichu Medallion, Jigliami Medallion, Asperchu Medallion, Snoop Dogg Medallion, Night V Medallion,
Snoop Dogg?
Modified Medallion,
I didn't know that one was there.
and
This
Golden
guy's created his
Medallion.
own retard
Geno Samuel
Pokemon
is a
universe.
comprehensive history. Chris Chan, a comprehensive
Ironically.
history, is a documentary web series created by Geno Samuel, which began in February 2018. It is, and as the name suggests, an extensive in-depth documentary about Chris's life, similar to Sakamo's. However, while Sakamo's film is a brief summary of Chris's life, for newcomers, Geno's videos go into greater detail, with most videos being between 35 to 45 minutes in length, with a decent portion of this being tied to the playback of Chris's own audio and video. As of part 75, the documentary series is 2 days, 4 hours, 50 minutes, and 10 seconds long. Sakamo's documentary, Christian Weston Chandler, is an unofficial fan-made documentary film based on Chris's life from his birth to January 2015. Directed and created by Kiwi Farms member Spy Lobster, also known as Sakamo on YouTube, it was successfully completed and released to YouTube on the 2nd of February 2015. Made as a high school project, the film takes a look at Chris's troubled life in mostly serious and factual fashion, utilizing photos, videos, and interviews, although it does have its moment of comedy. Notably, the film presents no bias towards Chris as a whole. At the end, it leaves it up to the viewer to decide how they feel about Chris. 14 Branchland Court. 14 Branchland Court, Ruckersville, Virginia, also known as Sonichu Headquarters, Temple of Quick Sonichu, or the last bastion of autism. This was the vile lair of Christian Weston Chandler up until his arrest in 2021. Currently, it is inhabited by Chris's mother Barbara, the surviving Chandler cats, and Chris's dog Clover. The Classic. The Classic is a red and blue rugby shirt formerly worn by Chris from sometime before the 2nd of February 2004 to when he became a tomgirl in 2011. It was initially thought to be lost in the 2014 house fire, but had survived at the bottom of a soaked and grimy garbage bag full of clothing. Prompted by the financial crisis, Chris went searching for it in April 2017, hoping to sell it to a fan, although no such sale came to pass. As of August 2018, the original shirt is lost, and as of October 2019, Chris owns a Mark II Classic, almost the same as the original, but sporting orange and blue instead of the original red and blue. Most documented person in history. It is often said that Chris Chan is the world's most documented person in history for very obvious reasons, from the fact that he himself from a young age started uploading content regarding his day-to-day life, to the fact that there is an entire wiki dedicated to him with a timeline of what he did in the past and hundreds upon thousands of pages documenting what he does on a day-to-day basis. It wouldn't be too crazy of a statement to say that he indeed is the most documented person in history. Chris identifies as transgender lesbian. In 2011, when Chris was 29 years old, he began exploring male-to-female gender transitioning. Starting with cross-dressing, he would gradually try do-it-yourself methods to undergo physical transitioning, which were pointless at best and dangerous at worst. In 2016, he began using legitimate means, such as seeing a professional specializing in gender issues and going on prescription hormone therapy later that year. Chris's identity gradually shifted over the course of his transitioning. He began as a transvestite, a male who cross-dresses yet still identifies as a man, or as Chris calls it, tomgirl. In 2014, he came out as a lesbian-identified male, and by the end of that year, he began identifying as a woman, calling himself a trans woman. In 2015, he started going by Christine, making the name change official the following year, and as well as changing the gender marker on his driver's license to female. Watch and Win Sweepstakes. The Sonic the Hedgehog Watch and Win Sweepstakes was a contest held in 1993 to promote the first Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, The Syndicated Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. The contest's grand prize, a $1,000 KB toy shopping spree, was awarded to at least 2 lucky winners, one of whom happened to be Chris. The other winner of the contest was a 6-year-old girl from California who decided to split her prize money with her classmates instead. This seminal event marks both the early peak of Chris's life and the first hint of his future decline into the man-child we know today. High-functioning autism. Autism is the lens through which Chris experiences the world. It is impossible to understand Chris's defensiveness, hypersensitivity, narcissism, irresponsibility, paranoia, victimhood, self-pity, and poor grasp on reality without understanding his relationship with autism.
This is low functioning. This is barely societally acceptable.
An influence on how
this is low functioning.
Alongside potential other undiagnosed psychological or neurological disorders. Love Quest. The Love Quest or Sweetheart Search was the longest real-life saga of Chris. His goal was to obtain a boyfriend-free girl. The stated purpose of the Love Quest was to meet the woman who would be his true love, solve all of his problems, and bear his daughter Christy. The Love Quest represented a focused effort to do everything in his power to achieve romantic fulfillment, except of course improving himself. For over a decade, from 2003 to 2018, the Love Quest was ongoing, with Chris unsurprisingly not having made any progress whatsoever in finding a romantic partner. In April 2012, he lost his virginity to a prostitute, and in early 2018, Chris was brainwashed by the Idea Guys into ending his love quest, and he was told that he was happily married to several of his fictional OCs. Unfortunately, that was not the end of his story, as Chris went from believing in his marriages to eventually having sex with very questionable consent with a certain member of his family, which rightfully resulted in Chris serving time in prison. Ruckersville, Virginia. Ruckersville is located in Greene County, Virginia, and part of the Charlottesville metropolitan area. It also happens to be the home of Chris and the capital of all things Sonichu related, until August 2021, when Chris's arrest for incest saw him relocated to a jail in Orange, Virginia. Chris and his family moved from Ruckersville to Richmond suburbs after the dispute with the faculty of Nathaniel Green Elementary School, only to return in 2000. Wikipedia. The Wikipedia, not to be confused with the Quickie, was a wiki set up for the sole use of Chris as a sort of personal wiki. It was designed to allow Chris to get the truth out, as he so desired to do on his own Wikipedia profile. Since its inception, Chris more or less treated the page as a free web hosting, a place to put his comics without having to pay for the resulting bandwidth use. The Wikipedia also served as the ultimate test of media wiki software and its usability, in that it strove to create a platform even an autistic man-child could use. While Chris does possess some technological intelligence, he still managed to fuck it up from time to time, even with a sysops holding his hand. PewDiePie video. This entry could either refer to the Chris Chen video made by PewDiePie on the 12th of November 2017, or it could be referring to the video titled PewDiePie Does Not Live Here, He Lives in Sweden, which is a video where Chris complains that PewDiePie does not live at 14 Branchland Court. Christorians. A Christorian is a person whom follows Chris's antics. There are two kinds, those who document and those who simply follow. Most importantly, they never interfere with Chris's life, they simply observe. Boyfriend-free girl. A boyfriend-free girl is a quickism that Chris uses to refer to a girl who is single. Virgin with rage. Virgin with rage was Chris's description of himself while he was still a virgin. Chris claimed that when he was a virgin, his condition generated frustration and, well, rage. Chris was very self-conscious about being a virgin and frequently brought up the subject unprompted, even in a casual conversation with people he had obviously just met. However, after being advised by his parents that it wasn't a good idea to mention that he was a virgin with rage, he stopped this practice, which was actually one of the few times he actually learned from his mistakes. Interviews. This entry could either refer to any of the hundreds of Chris interviews, but I personally think it refers to Chris's first ever interview, the previously mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog Watch Catch and Win sweepstakes interview. Incest. I think we all know what this is referring to, so I'm going to shed some light on the bunch of other times Chris was spotted being okay with incest. In 2007, Chris uploaded several not safe for work drawings, including one of himself finger banging a nude brunette woman. An Encyclopedia Dramatica user immediately concluded this was Crystal, Chris's imaginary twin sister. Crystal also appeared as a girlfriend card he made for Yu-Gi-Oh! And when he first learned what incest meant, he said that he would only definitely discourage that, and that lesbian incest is possibly okay. Kursei Hameha. The Kursei Hameha, also referred to as Shinyei Hameha, is the special finishing move of Doom used by Chris when battling his unfortunate adversaries, be they jerk-ups, mana-jerks, trolls, or Mary Lee Walsh. It is performed exactly the same way as the famed Kamehameha maneuver used in the anime series Dragon Ball and its sequels, by doing silly choreography poses and slowly yelling the name of a famous Hawaiian king. It is also possible that Chris was inspired by a scene in Excel Saga, where the character at one point performed a Nevi Hameha, a parody of the Kamehameha named after the series director Shinji Nabeshin Watanabe. If not directly inspired by Excel Saga, it is likely at least caused Chris to think of deriving his own version of the famous attack. Dimensional Merge. The Dimensional Merge is a supposed apocalyptic event in which Chris believes that the dimension 1280 and dimension C197 will combine, bringing fictional characters into reality, and which Chris, being the designated god of the event, will ascend into godhood. Of course, the merge is just an escapist fantasy and coping mechanism for Chris. Originally part of the lore, the idea guys had brainwashed into Chris, the dimensional merge is Chris's latest means of avoiding reality, believing that it will rescue him from his self-inflicted real-life problems and enable him to continue living like a child. First announced in October 2018, the merge was expected to take place by the end of the year. The deadline and several others passed without the incident, but Chris has remained persistent. True and honest. Chris believes that in order to be honest, you must give away excessive amounts of personal information about yourself. Therefore, honest content refers to Chris's tendency to tell random strangers about very personal and private details about his life against his better judgment, usually to no benefit to himself and to the benefit of his trolls. While honesty may be the best policy, Chris has a poor grasp of what honesty is or when it's inappropriate to be honest. Worse still, he seems to think the only way to attract a woman is to be 100% honest. Like with many of Chris's strange mannerisms, this is likely linked to his autism. Autistic individuals often have little to no social filter, causing them to say things they shouldn't say. Chris just so happens to take this to ridiculous levels.
Roll Tide.
BronyCon appearances. BronyCon was a yearly convention held by bronies each summer from 2011 to 2019. Chris has been a fan of the series years before the first BronyCon, yet he only began attending the conventions in 2017. As his interest in the children's cartoon deepened, he would continue to attend annually until My Little Pony Friendship is Magic ended its 9-year run in 2019. Even with his low regard among the MLP community, Chris has remained eager to congregate with his fellow fans. In total, Chris has attended 3 BronyCons: BronyCon 2017, 2018, and 2019. July 30th, 2021. On this very fateful day, a certain audio clip of Chris was released to the public, setting the internet ablaze for the next few days. The audio clip I'm referring to is the Bella audio clip, where Chris accidentally provides audio evidence to committing incest with her mother. PokeNews interview. This entry refers to the October 16th, 1999 news segment, where you can see a 17-year-old Chris Chan mumble about how to play Pokemon, the trading card game. House tour video. Most likely, this refers to Chris's first ever house tour, which consists of 2 videos, both uploaded on the 27th of March 2009, in which Chris provides a tour of his house and property. Such a video had been requested by both Julie and Ivy. Like his own room, Chris's entire house is filled with junk. Several rooms